reuse and leverage the reviews across multiple channels. So the obvious ones I think are, if we find a nice quote, then we'll post it on our social media. We put quotes in our pitch deck, so it used internally and externally. But I'll talk about internal for a second. We use them in our pitch decks. We use them to equip our field and sales team with basically with sales enablement, so they have examples that they can pull in customer conversations. We use it to raise awareness internally about, if a customer was able to achieve something, to achieve really good results or really good metrics, then we'll share that internally. But then also, of course, externally, we use that in social media. Like I said, we use that to create assets like ebooks and blogs, and we use that to create customer stories. So we repurpose it in a lot of ways, and they actually appear on our website. So Trent, I believe that you were showing the widget that I know a lot of your
Yeah.
customers are using. We don't necessarily use the widget at Microsoft, but we do have the reviews on our website where people can scroll through, read the interesting quotes, and then click, and it takes them directly to read the longer review.
Nice, that's awesome. So I had some images of how we've helped you. I think this is also powerful to show visually what this looks like.
Yeah.
So if you're able to talk through some
Mhm.
of these, that'd be great as well. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So the nice thing is that we didn't have to create any of these. The PeerSpot team that we worked with helped us create these. We just said, hey, we need like a one pager about, personalization. And then they went through, they combed through the quotes and the information, and we're able to put this together. And then the nice thing is that we have a one pager with quotes that are talking about directly about personalization or directly about, in this case, vector databases, and we can share that both externally and internally. These are in lieu of bigger customer stories. We have short one pagers. The nice thing is that sometimes, if you have a high level customer story, you can complement it with these very specific hands-on keyboard practitioners and what they have to say, the valuable features that they find in our product, the ROI that they're getting from using the product, some of the challenges, the results, things like that. And it's all captured in very easily consumable one pager. With these, yeah, thanks for pulling these up. These are really nice quotes that we got from some of our users that left reviews. And then we leverage these across our assets and across our social media channels. Oh, yep, and the ebook. We're really
Got
proud of this
everything.
ebook. We did an ebook where we basically created a whole narrative around how our users our developers are using Azure databases. And we relied the whole ebook was based on feedback that we got from the reviews. So we worked with the PeerSpot team to kind of have a narrative over what our databases are, what they do, how they help developers, and then we actually complemented that with real developer feedback from the PeerSpot reviews.
What would you say, I guess, like what's the like if you wanted something like a quote card or one of these, what's kind of the process of working with PeerSpot to get that done? Do you just reach out and they get it done for you, or like what's kind of
Yeah,
usually?
I mean it's easy as that. Honestly, the PeerSpot account team has become like an extension of our marketing team. We worked with someone named Ayelet and Daniel in particular, and they have been wonderful. Highly recommend working with them. And they, anytime that we need something for a slide or for social media or, one pager, then we go to them, we tell them what we need. They do the research, they comb through our reviews, they design it, and they just deliver it to us. Super easy.
Heck yeah. I know like just with AI and everything, everybody's marketing teams have gotten like so small. And just until recently, I was the one man team for PeerSpot until we hired our CMO recently. So I've talked to a bunch of companies, and that's kind of the case everywhere that we work with. And just like you mentioned, like one of the feedback I always get is that PeerSpot almost fills the role of like a customer marketer or a marketing role where they're able to pull all these assets. They look nice, something you don't have to worry about as
Absolutely.
well.
Yep.
And something I like about these, just not even from PeerSpot, just as a marketer, is like these are all you can tell actual names and titles and pictures. So you can, it gives that credibility and ties it back to these are real people instead of just anonymous reviews.
Yeah, I would say that's the other sort of big benefit is that if whoever we interviewed is willing to go on record and is not anonymous, then you know that they're real. I mean, you know that they're a real person working in a real company with real use cases that you can point to, and that's what makes the market